Ben McKee, Rob Lewis here at Thompson Bowling Arena. Tennessee takes care of business 92-60 in its season opener against Tennessee Martin. Rob, Tennessee got off to a slow start, but was able to pick it up in the second half. But first off, in the first half, what did you see that led to UT Martin hanging around a little longer?
I think Tennessee, as Coach Barnes said, just not sound defensively. Lunged a lot, allowed a lot of straight line drives. UT Martin didn't hit a bunch of threes. They got layups, and Tennessee really cleaned that up in the second half. But UT Martin shot 56% in the first half, and they were above 60 for a while. But, as you said, Tennessee, cleaned that up and really pulled away for an easy one.
Absolutely. And anything surprise you with the starting lineup? Kind of first guys off the bench, any rotation things that stood out to you tonight?
It kind of went about like I expected. Huntley had the start with Fulkerson out, Giros, Santi, Josiah, Olivier, who double 10 and 14, really nice game from him, and Kennedy Chandler, obviously. Huntley, Hatfield, and Victor Bailey were the first two guys off the bench. I don't think that was a surprise. Justin Powell was in there pretty soon thereafter. I think that's the 8 guys you're going to see the most. Now, Zakai Ziegler is going to play.
Right.
He got in the first half, but didn't get in until late the second half. And then Jemai Meshack came in tonight about the 10-minute mark of the first half. I don't think that's going to be normal, especially when Fulkerson's available.
You mentioned Olivier's double-double. It did take him a minute to reach that double-double. Came out in the second half and got into some early foul trouble. Had to take a seat very quickly. Three fouls in those first couple of minutes. He was preaching that it's going to take time. Not a whole lot of time, but as he plays, he'll become more comfortable.
Yeah, I think he will. And I think he looks way more comfortable already tonight than we've seen him. And the thing with Coach Barnes, with him has always been slow down. And I thought he was a little more patient tonight. He had a 3, looked good, on defense, showed that he was able to come out and switch off onto some guards. That'll give Tennessee a lot of options. And I thought it was interesting. And again, maybe this was just because Fulkerson was out, but Rick wasn't afraid to play he and Huntley Hatfield together at the same time, which is, a pretty neat look.
Threes were the name of the game tonight. 17 made threes, a program record. I think you're going to see Tennessee put up a lot of threes this season. May even shatter the single season record. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but I imagine they may shatter that this year.
They broke the Thompson Bowling Arena record, on opening night. So I think that's a pretty good sign. And we've talked about this. They never took more than 28 in a game last year. This year, was it 41 tonight? They were 17 for 41. That's certainly a percentage that you can live with. And Kennedy Chandler's 4 for 4, Santi 6 of 11, Justin Powell 3 of 5, and they got some guys that can shoot. And they shot that well tonight with Victor Bailey and Josiah James going to combine 2 for 12 from 3. So if those guys are just decent, then you're talking about 20 plus most likely.
And it took a minute for Santiago to get going as well. Made a good bit of his threes in the second half. Defense was the topic of conversation for Rick Barnes after the game. Tennessee was much better defensively in the second half. UT Martin shot over 50% in the opening half, 35% I believe it was there in the second. Much better defensively in the second half.
Yeah, much better, and I would imagine that was a result of some some tough coaching at halftime. But yeah, I think you would have expected that. And also, I think UT Martin came out really fired up, playing Big Brother, and wanted to prove that they weren't going to be pushovers. And to their credit, they did. It was a back and forth game for most of the first half.
Mm-hmm. Next game is Sunday against ETSU at noon. Not foe, but a familiar face in Desmond Oliver will be in the building. It sounds like John Fulkerson is probable to play on Sunday. Just what's one thing you'll be interested in keeping up with going into the second game of the season?
I want to see Fulky play. I think even though he's a 6-year senior, I still think it's important before you go play a team like Villanova and then whether it's Purdue or North Carolina the next game, that he gets gets a chance to knock some of the rust off. So want to see him play. Want to see with him in the lineup. I would assume he'll start, but even if he's available, what does the rotation look like? Does Girosh get guaranteed minutes? How does his presence impact what we saw tonight where a lot of guys played?
Yeah, I think we certainly learned tonight that you need John Fulkerson. We already knew that, but tonight, even though Olivier Urosh made some nice plays, you got to get Fulky back, especially Jonas Adu. Doesn't look like he's going to be much of a help anytime soon. Brendan Huntley Hatfield has some nice plays, but got to get Fulky back in the mix. He's Rob Lewis. I'm Ben McKee. Tennessee takes care of Tennessee Martin 92-60 on opening night.